Ford is not just a car company. It is a symbol of industrial innovation, American ambition, and global automotive influence. Since Henry Ford first introduced the moving assembly line and brought the Model T to the masses, the company has been at the forefront of shaping not only how people drive, but how society moves. Over more than a century, Ford has produced vehicles that became icons. Some were engineered for the people. Some pushed the limits of performance. Others redefined their categories, but among all these machines, one question stands out. What is the greatest Ford ever built? This is not a casual opinion piece. At DriveSense Garage, we do not care for hype or nostalgia. We care about what matters to real drivers. We cut through the marketing and look at the facts. That means performance figures, ownership data, design influence, and cultural legacy. Our goal today is to identify one model that stands above the rest. The one that best represents what Ford does when it absolutely nails every detail. To do that, we are using a clear 5-part rating system. Each contender will be judged across 5 core categories, with a maximum score of 10 points in each. The first is performance. We will assess real-world power, acceleration, cornering, braking, and overall driving feel. The second is reliability. We are not interested in spec sheets alone. We want to know how these vehicles hold up after years of use based on owner reports, recalls, and service patterns. The third is design and innovation. We will evaluate whether the vehicle introduced meaningful technology, achieved engineering breakthroughs, or set a new visual standard for its time. Fourth is cultural impact. Did this Ford change the way the public saw the brand? Did it influence other manufacturers? Did it become a symbol beyond the road? And finally, popularity and sales. Because if a car is truly great, it sells well, builds loyalty, and holds its value long after the showroom spotlight fades. We have spent time on the research. This includes expert reviews, verified customer testimonials, automotive awards, and historical context. With that information, we selected 5 contenders. Each is a giant in Ford's history. The first is the Ford Model T, the vehicle that put the world on wheels and introduced the modern concept of mass car ownership. Next, the original 1965 Ford Mustang, which captured the spirit of freedom and excitement in a way no car had done before. We also include the Ford F-150, a truck that has led American sales for over 4 decades and continues to evolve with every generation. Then there is the Ford GT40, the legendary race car that crushed Ferrari at Le Mans and proved that American engineering could dominate on the global stage. And finally, the Ford Focus RS, a modern performance hatchback that delivered rally car energy to everyday streets and built a passionate following around the world. Each of these machines made history in its own way, but only one of them can wear the crown as the greatest Ford of all time. Not just the most popular, not just the fastest, but the one that checked every box and delivered something truly special to its drivers. This video is not just a list, it is a deep dive into 5 chapters of Ford's history. We will break down what made these cars work, where they came up short, and why one of them deserves to be remembered as the finest expression of what Ford can do. So, settle in. We are about to rank icons. This is not about hype. This is about truth. Welcome to DriveSense Garage. Let's find out which Ford is the greatest of them. Ford Model T. Launched in 1908, the Model T wasn't just a car, it was the foundation of the modern automobile industry. Powered by a 2.9-liter inline-4 engine making 20 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque, the numbers seem quaint today. But at the time, that performance was sufficient to handle America's dirt roads and primitive highways. With a top speed of about 45 miles per hour, the Model T wasn't fast, but it was consistent, durable, and simple to repair, which was revolutionary for early motorists. And durability is really where the Model T shines. Unlike many early automobiles that required constant mechanical tinkering, the Model T featured interchangeable parts, making maintenance accessible to everyday owners. Ford even published user-friendly manuals to teach people how to perform basic repairs themselves. Reliability scores, while not formally tracked then, were best reflected in the Model T's long production run and the number of surviving examples today. Over a century later, thousands are still running. From a design and innovation perspective, no other Ford has arguably had more influence. Henry Ford's implementation of the moving assembly line to mass-produce the Model T cut production time from 12 hours to under 2, drastically reducing the cost and democratizing car ownership. The phrase, "putting America on wheels," wasn't just a slogan, it was fact. At $825 initially and dropping to as low as $260, the Model T was the first car truly accessible to the working class. Culturally, its impact is immeasurable. The Model T changed how Americans lived, worked, and socialized. It supported suburban expansion, enabled weekend travel, and restructured economies. It wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of freedom, self-reliance, and progress. With over 15 million sold globally, it held the world record for highest vehicle production until the Volkswagen Beetle surpassed it decades later. The customer response was overwhelming for its time. Letters archived from early owners praised the car's resilience and simplicity, particularly in rural environments where mechanics were few and far between. Moving to 1965, we arrive at the Ford Mustang, a nameplate that redefined what an affordable, sporty American car could be. With options ranging from a thrifty inline-six to a performance-focused 4.7-liter V8, producing 271 horsepower, the original Mustang offered something for everyone. Its 0 to 60 time of about 6 seconds in V8 trim was lightning quick for its era, and it felt alive in the hands of everyday drivers. Performance was visceral, accessible, and thrilling. The reliability of the early Mustangs was bolstered by their shared platform with the Ford Falcon, meaning cheap parts, straightforward mechanics, and broad serviceability. Many 1965 Mustangs are still driven daily or restored by enthusiasts, a testament to the car's build quality and simplicity. This model also scored highly in contemporary consumer satisfaction surveys for design and drivability. Visually, the long hood and short deck became instantly iconic, birthing the pony car category. Its design has remained instantly recognizable through decades of reinvention, and that original silhouette is still echoed in modern Mustangs. Innovations like customizable trims, performance packages, and a variety of transmission options allowed buyers to truly personalize their vehicles, unheard of at the time for a mass-market car. But perhaps the greatest asset of the Mustang was its cultural explosion. Featured in everything from bullet to gone in 60 seconds, the Mustang became shorthand for American performance. It appealed to youth, counterculture, and muscle car lovers all at once. Its first-year sales of over 400,000 units stunned the industry, and it quickly became Ford's fastest-selling vehicle at launch. Mustang clubs, forums, and social events still thrive today, fueled by generations of loyal owners. Now, we can't talk about Ford without giving the F-150 its due. Often overlooked in best-ever debates simply because of its utilitarian image, the F-150 is not just a sales giant, it's a customer satisfaction powerhouse. Its engine lineup is diverse and capable, with the current 5.0-liter V8 pumping out 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque, while the EcoBoost Phi 6 options balance power and efficiency. It tows with ease, hauls with confidence, and drives more like a well-tuned SUV than a pickup. With a 0 to 60 time of under 6 seconds in higher trims and a max towing capacity exceeding 13,000 pounds, performance isn't just present, it's dominant. Its reliability is legendary. Fleet owners, contractors, and ranchers all testify to the F-150's ability to go the distance. High-mileage examples with 300,000-plus miles are common, and Ford's parts support and maintenance ecosystem make repairs straightforward. Multiple studies from Consumer Reports and J.D. Power have consistently ranked the F-150 as one of the top full-size trucks for long-term dependability. Design-wise, it evolves smartly with each generation. Aluminum panels for weight savings, hybrid drivetrains for fuel economy, and tech-packed interiors that rival luxury sedans. It's not a truck stuck in the past. Its 12-inch touchscreen, Pro Power onboard generator, and advanced driver assistance systems show Ford's commitment to keeping the F-150 relevant. Culturally, it's the people's truck. Whether it's working on farms in Iowa, towing boats in Florida, or cruising freeways in California, the F-150 fits in everywhere. With over 40 million units sold since inception, it is the most popular vehicle in North America, period. Ford owners regularly praise it for practicality, ease of use, and cabin comfort. On dealer review sites and automotive forums alike, the phrase, "Best truck I've ever owned" comes up more often than you'd expect. For raw motorsport glory, few Fords shine as brightly as the GT40. Developed in the 1960s to defeat Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the GT40 wasn't just good, it was unbeatable. From 1966 to 1969, it claimed 4 consecutive Le Mans victories. That kind of dominance is rare, and it came from sheer engineering brilliance. Its 7.0-liter 5.8 pushed out up to 485 horsepower and had a top speed north of 200 miles per hour. For the era, that performance was almost science fiction. But the GT40 wasn't just fast, it was reliable under pressure. Designed with endurance racing in mind, it survived brutal 24-hour races without catastrophic failures, proving its mettle over and over. Its race-bred design featured lightweight materials, wind tunnel-tested aerodynamics, and an ultra-low profile that gave it both visual aggression and a technical edge. Even today, it's considered one of the most beautiful and functional race cars ever built. Culturally, the GT40 is a symbol of American defiance. It was born out of Ford's failed attempt to buy Ferrari and Henry Ford II's resolve to beat them at their own game. It's more than a race car, it's a story of revenge, perseverance, and grit. While only 107 units were made, its legacy is outsized. The 2019 film Ford v Ferrari reintroduced the GT40 to a new generation, further boosting its cult status. Now onto something more grounded but no less thrilling, the Ford Focus RS. This car brought rally car energy into the hands of everyday drivers. With a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-4 churning out 350 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, the Focus RS launched to 60 in 4.7 seconds, supercar territory for a hatchback. Its trick all-wheel drive system, torque vectoring, and aggressive suspension tuning made it one of the most fun-to-drive compact cars ever sold. While some early models experienced head gasket issues, Ford issued extended warranties and resolved many of those concerns in later units. Overall reliability is strong, especially for a high-strung performance vehicle. Driver feedback consistently praised the handling, steering feel, and cornering capabilities. On twisty roads, it feels unshakable, like it's glued to the tarmac. Stylistically, the RS stood out. Bold paint colors, flared arches, rear spoilers, and Recaro seats screamed performance without veering into boy racer absurdity. And in the hot hatch community, the Focus RS quickly rose to legend status. Its blend of practicality and excitement made it a go-to choice for enthusiasts who wanted a car that could commute on weekdays and hit the track on weekends. Each of these Fords brought something special to the table. From the Model T's global transformation to the Mustang's youthful rebellion, from the F-150's workhorse consistency to the GT40's racing domination and the Focus RS's everyday adrenaline, Ford has shown it can innovate, inspire, and endure. In the final part, we'll take this rich analysis and weigh all 5 legends, backed by ratings, performance data, and customer sentiment, to crown the single greatest Ford vehicle ever produced. Stay tuned. After everything we've uncovered, it's time to bring it all together. We've dug through Ford's history, driven through decades of innovation, and taken a hard look at the 5 finalists that truly stand out as contenders for the best Ford ever built. The Model T, Mustang, F-150, GT40, and Focus RS. Now, the challenge isn't just picking a favorite, it's identifying which one earns the title of the purest Ford, the car that captures the brand's true spirit, delivers on the promise of performance and value, and earns the highest marks from real-world drivers. To do this properly, we'll weigh them using the 5 criteria we laid out earlier: performance and innovation, reliability and durability, design and functionality, cultural and historical impact, and customer ratings and ownership experience. Each car scores between 1 and 10 in each category, for a maximum of 50 points. But remember, we're not just looking at numbers. We're interpreting what those numbers mean to actual owners, to enthusiasts, and to the broader automotive world. Let's begin with the Model T. In terms of historical and cultural impact, it's an automatic 10 out of 10. No other Ford vehicle has shaped the world quite like the Model T. It made the automobile mainstream, revolutionized industrial production, and changed the fabric of modern society. It also earns high marks for innovation, a solid 9 out of 10 for pioneering mass production and interchangeable parts. But when it comes to performance by today's standards, it naturally falls behind. A 2.9-liter engine with 20 horsepower isn't going to impress anyone on paper in 2025, so it gets a 2 out of 10 in raw performance. Design is utilitarian, simple and functional, but hardly inspiring today, scoring a 5 out of 10. As for customer satisfaction and reliability, owners of restored models still speak positively about its toughness, so we'll give it a respectable 7 out of 10. That gives the Model T a total of 33 out of 1050. Now let's look at the original Mustang. On performance, it gets a 7. While the straight-line power of the V8 made headlines in the 60s, handling and braking were weak points. Still, its accessible speed and thrilling feel were more than enough to stir the soul. In terms of innovation, it earns an 8. Ford took compact underpinnings and created a new segment, the pony car. For design, the Mustang shines with a 9. That long hood, short deck, and aggressive stance are still benchmarks of automotive design. Culturally, it's a solid 10. From Steve McQueen to modern track builds, the Mustang's influence is unrivaled among muscle cars. Customer satisfaction and ownership experience rank high, 8 out of 10, because even base trims delivered personality and value. That brings the Mustang's total to 42 out of 50. Next is the Ford F-150. This is where things get impressive. It nails the reliability category, 10 out of 10. Across decades, it's proven itself with high-mileage durability in real-world abuse scenarios, from construction sites to farm fields. In performance, it scores an 8. While no one buys it as a track car, the latest models have astonishing capability. From towing over 6 tons to launching from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, this truck is no slouch. Innovation gets a 7 with aluminum construction, onboard generators, and hybrid powertrains pushing boundaries in the full-size segment. Design and functionality is another win. Practical and modern, it scores a 9. Culturally, it gets an 8. The F-150 is embedded in the American psyche, representing grit, utility, and dependability. Add it up and you get 42 out of 50, tied with the Mustang. Now the GT40. It's a pure performance machine, scoring a perfect 10 in that department. Its endurance victories at Le Mans, its engineering brilliance, and its 200-mile-per-hour capability were extraordinary achievements. On innovation, it gets a 9. It was a bespoke race car built from the ground up for international domination, using aerodynamics and advanced engineering decades ahead of its time. For design, it earns another 10. The GT40's low-slung body and wide stance are still among the most admired silhouettes in racing history. But reliability, here we dock it a bit. While it held up under race conditions, this wasn't a consumer vehicle. It scores a 6. Cultural impact, however, is massive. The rivalry with Ferrari and the success that followed were immortalized in both racing lore and film, earning it a 9. That brings the GT40's total to 44 out of 50, the highest score yet. Finally, the Focus RS. This is the people's performance car. It scores an 8 for performance. 350 horsepower, blistering acceleration, and track-ready grip in a compact hatchback made it a sleeper slayer. Innovation is strong too, 7 out of 10, for introducing drift mode and clever AWD dynamics in an affordable package. Design earns a 7. Aggressive but still functional with just enough flair. Reliability, though, is where it falters. Some early models suffered engine issues, and while Ford addressed many of them, we have to score it a 6. Customer satisfaction, however, ranks high among enthusiasts who actually daily drive theirs. It gets a solid 8. Add it up and you're looking at a total of 36 out of 50. A respectable score, but not quite legendary. So where does that leave us? The Model T is the original legend, but its utility and appeal are too time-bound to claim the top spot today. The Focus RS is a joy to drive and a future classic, but it's not without its flaws. That leaves us with 3 real contenders: the Mustang, the F-150, and the GT40. The Mustang and F-150 both scored 42, but for very different reasons. One for emotional appeal, the other for utility and dominance in its class. The GT40 edged them both out with a score of 44, and it deserves the title of Ford's engineering masterpiece. But does that make it the greatest Ford ever made? Not quite. The GT40 is an icon, but it was out of reach for the average buyer and built for a specific purpose. It's a legend, yes, but a limited one. The F-150, on the other hand, continues to serve millions of Americans every day, delivering unmatched practicality, reliability, and evolving tech. It's the Ford that gets the job done. But when it comes to legacy, versatility, design, and sheer emotional pull, the Mustang is the only Ford that truly balances performance, affordability, mass appeal, and heritage. And so, after all the analysis, we crowned the original Ford Mustang as the best Ford ever built. It wasn't the fastest nor the most luxurious, but it was the right car at the right time with the right soul. It empowered generations of drivers, ignited a passion for speed and style, and became a symbol not just of a brand, but of American car culture itself. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if your vote goes to another Ford altogether. And if you're into real-world car advice that cuts through the hype, be sure to subscribe to Drive Sense Garage for brutally honest reviews, smart buying tips, and breakdowns that save you money. See you in the next one.